My name is Andrea and welcome to my series of videos sharing my experience volunteering across 13 countries in the past 2 years. As you probably know, the past 2 years include 1 full year of pandemic, and I have been volunteering during the pandemic, but my second year of travel has been very different to my first year of travel without COVID. So I'm going to share what's changed during my experience, but also make sure you check the rest of this playlist where I'm covering a lot of other aspects of volunteering, about traveling, and about being a nomad. So of course a lot has changed in terms of traveling in general, but I'll try and keep these 4 points more specifically towards volunteering, what's changed in the world of volunteering. So the first thing and the main thing is that the options for hosts and volunteering experiences are a bit more limited now with the pandemic. Because as I mentioned before, Worldpackers is focused mainly on hospitality businesses, although there are social projects and other things there. And a lot of hospitality businesses had to close down either temporarily or permanently. So of course there will be less opportunities on the platform if you compare it to my first year of traveling in 2019. Having said that, I volunteered in 4 different places during the pandemic: in a hotel in Lebanon, in a hostel in Serbia and another hostel in Albania, and in an equestrian center in the UK. It is possible to find these opportunities, but I have noticed a decrease in the number of the positions available. Speaking about hostels and hotels, I also noticed that the environment is a lot quieter, because usually in 2019 when I was volunteering in hostels there was a lot of people around, there was a lot of parties, and now it's a bit of a more chilled vibe. And the hosts really like it when the volunteers try to create a vibe to the few guests that they have during the pandemic. So I feel like as a volunteer during the pandemic, little things can be very helpful, like just sitting down and striking a conversation with the guests, entertain them, tell them of places to go if the local restrictions allow that, or just really try to make them company, because the entertainment options is obviously limited in most locations where you have some sort of lockdown happening or some sort of restriction in place. The few guests they have tend to spend a bit more time in the hostel, so the volunteer is very helpful in creating a good environment in the hostel. Speaking of these entertainment options, some of the perks that you usually get from volunteering in hostels or hotels, which are the free tours and tickets to tourist attractions and things like that. Obviously there's a lot less of that now because depending on the country you're in, the tourist attractions are closed or they are very restricted. Tours are not allowed anymore in most places. So I felt like the positions now, they are focusing more on offering accommodation and the meals, whereas in the previous year in 2019 I took day trips to nearby cities for free with the hostel. You could do like pub crawls for free and things like that. And also for me as a digital nomad, I am not like I don't have an end date to my trip. I am a full-time traveler, it's my lifestyle. And it meant for me that I had to spend a bit more time in each host, because a lot of the times there were like new restrictions and the borders closed down and I had to stay in a host for a bit longer than I planned. And also traveling is a bit more expensive, and I mean like the transport, like the buses and the flights are a bit more expensive here in Europe at least. It meant that either by choice or forcefully I had to stay a bit longer in each host, which for me isn't a problem, but it did mean that I didn't get to see as many countries as I did last year. That's it for me. Let's hope that the pandemic ends very soon and everything goes back to normal, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it's like to continue to be a digital nomad and a volunteer during the pandemic. Also important to mention that even though I am still on the road, I am always following the local restrictions, and this is a tough one because every time I arrive at a new place I have to research everything and see what I can or cannot do because it's different from the previous country, and I managed to have safe travels and voluntary experiences in the past year. And also I am not encouraging anybody to go and volunteer right now. This is a good time to sit down and plan plan a trip, plan your next volunteer experience, so when things improve, you're ready to go out there and do it. And let's hope this is going to be soon, okay? So if you have any questions about my experience, you can drop in the comments down below. There are plenty of other videos in this playlist about being a Worldpacker, traveling, being nomadic, and if you are ready to sign up to Worldpackers, the link is down below as well.